up, you guys, and welcome back to another video. So for today's video, we're going to be doing our first Valentine's look of the year. So for starters, we're going into brows first, and I'm using the Gimme Brow by Benefit Cosmetics, and I'm just going to lightly stroke that through my brows to give them some color and shape it. Next, we're going to go in with our eye base. So for this video, I'm just going to be using the P.Louise on its own. So I'm going to put a nice little amount on the lid and use my large flat Morphe concealer brush just to carve under my brows and then kind of lightly pat that all over the rest of the lid. And then I'm going to take my little fluffy brush from Real Techniques and buff that out on the lid nice and smooth. I'm really excited for this tutorial today because we are using a new palette, you guys, one that I've had for like 2 months now and I have not dove into it yet. I wanted to save it for a tutorial for you guys. So this is the Morphe x Avani Gregg eyeshadow palette. These colors are gorgeous, they are pigmented, and they blend so good. So we're going to be taking this first shade and putting it right into the crease, and I do a nice winged outer corner. And this shade that we're going in with is 2016, and I'm going to be taking that on a Morphe M506 brush. After I get that pigment and the shape I want, I'm just going to go back in with that same brush and with no extra product and just kind of lightly buff out the edges of that peak. And then next we're going to be going into this really pretty light pink shade, and this one is actually called Lil Papavoni, I think that's how you say it. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I'm going to be taking that one on another Morphe M506 and just buffing out that pinkish red shade. And then I'm going to take that same brush that I used for this light pink shade and dap into the white shade in the palette, which is the Inaudible Noise. And I'm going to take that and just use it to further buff out that really light pink shade. Now we're going to go in and clean off that lid space. So I'm going to use my Garnier Micellar water and some Q-tips, and then go back in again with the P.Louise base, and this time I'm going to use a much smaller, really more defined concealer brush from Morphe. I like to use this smaller one to really cut out my crease, and it works really, really good. I did want to say, you guys, I am so sorry about the voiceover. I did not get a chance to film an intro and an outro just because while filming I had quite a few relatives that were at my house at the moment, so it was pretty loud in the background, and I know it was going to be too hard to get kind of everyone to just be quiet while I do it, so I just decided to do the voiceover for the entire thing for this one. So now I'm just going to go back in with those Morphe M507 brushes, and I'm just going to kind of apply all the shades we used in the crease, that reddish kind of pink cranberry shade and then the light baby pink shade, and just use those brushes to really buff that onto the crease, onto the lid, and then the outer corner. And then I'm going to take this really, really pretty metallic eyeshadow. So this is a single eyeshadow, and it's actually from Loreal. And this shade is actually called, let's see, I believe it's called Diamond Dust. Yes, it's called Diamond Dust, and it's the L'Oreal Paris Crushed Foil Metallic Eyeshadows. So now that we've got both eyes done, we're going to move into the face, and now I put my primer down, which is the Master Prime by Facestudio from Maybelline. And then now we're going to go in with my favorite foundation, which is the Maybelline Superstay Activewear 30-Hour Foundation. And then take that on my beauty sponge and just nicely blend it out. And so then we're going to go right back into our concealer, and I'm just going to put the concealer a few dots under under both under eye, and then of course a little bit onto my chin and right up in my forehead area. at the top of my T-zone. So now we're going to go in with translucent setting powder, and I'm using the Airspun translucent, and I just like to use a little light fluffy brush to apply this onto all the areas that I have concealed. And then next we're going to go into a bronzer. So this is the Morphe Glamabronzer in shade Icon. And I'm just going to take a regular cheap drugstore bronzer brush to apply this onto my cheeks and then up on my forehead. And now we're going to go into blush. So this is the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso, and it's so gorgeous. I'm going to be taking that on a Wet n Wild blush brush and just applying that on the apples of my cheeks. Now I'm going to go in and just set the remaining parts of my face that didn't have any powder applied, and just use this full coverage pressed powder from Maybelline. So I'm going to go in and set my face for the first time. I do like to set it twice, so I'm using the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray and my USB chargeable little fan to dry it. Now with a loose highlight, we're going to go in with the Airspun loose highlight in the shade Snow Much Ice, and I'm just using a kind of like cheap Real Techniques kind of fluffy brush to just apply that on my cheeks, my Cupid's bow, and the tip of my nose, and just a little bit on above my brow also. Now we're going to go in with our lipsticks. I did go ahead and do my lips off camera, but I did use the two Maybelline Liquid Superstay Matte inks that I showed you guys. They are both in shades I'm sorry, Driver is the dark one and Loyalist is the light colored one. And then I did go ahead and put some mascara on and applied my lashes as well. They are my favorite lashes. So now we're going to go ahead and just jump into the under the lower lash line and put our colors in. So I'm just going to take a little tiny small kind of like smudge brush and apply that pink shade to my lower lash line towards the inner corner, and I'm just going to do that on both sides and just make sure they're kind of slightly blended out. And then lastly, we're just going to apply some mascara to the lower lashes. And now we're going to go in with our setting spray and then dry it, and we are all complete, you guys. So here's the finished look. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.